Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 1v1 on St.Quentin, or St. Quentin, a custom map for Company of Heroes. You can find it if you Google St. Quentin plus Company of Heroes. That should have the first link being in this map, with instructions on how to get it to work. We shall be watching SolMisery fighting for the Americans, taking on the fight for the 3rd Infantry Division in a brutal fight against WmdChains of the 2nd SS Panzerdivision Das Reich. And I have reapplied for a partnership with that Social Blade network, having now removed all the having hopefully removed the things that caused them to reject my application in the first place. If not, well, that means more work for me and potentially more stuff that needs to get cut. We are seeing a bit, and of course, St. Quentin is a slightly different map, of course. High munitions in the corners, more sort of decent resources close to the base, but at the same time also some cut-off points sort of controlling access to, for example, the medium fuel points. In fact, I mean, lots of more accessible resources close to the base with fewer cut-offs. But again, as you sort of spread further and further out, more and more cut-offs appear to cause you a mess. First unit out for Chains is a Futzgrenadier squad. For Misery, we do see some riflemen moving out for Uncle Sam. Of course, rather functioning. Of course, our sort of lighting makes things look a bit different. And of course, we do have some slight news that apparently we should be looking forward to news about the beta very soon for Company of Heroes 2. In fact, a bit on Facebook, a bit on Twitter. Certainly retweeted that on Twitter. So again, follow me on Twitter if you want to be updated with the latest stuff. Or just want to ask me something, that's also a good place to ask. Folks, guys, heading down now the right-hand side. Of course, the fuel is there, so of course that is what Chains and the Wehrmacht wants to secure. Second unit out is an MG42, Schweres MG42. Additional rifle out for SolMisery. And he might also be heading towards it, of course, expecting this could be where Chains is heading, of course, and thus trying to go for the throat, and of course trying to delay his fuel's acquisition. Moving up behind a train left out in the middle of the French countryside. And there we go. Hello, folks. Which of course means hello people. Oh, the wit from SolMisery. But Chains quickly pulls up on the wrong side of the fence. In the meanwhile, small engagement here, at least denying temporarily the munitions. At the same time, SolMisery going for the munitions there. So in fact, both high munitions will be in the hands of the Americans. The question of course becomes, how will Chains at least somewhat prevent? At least get some of it. Rifleman sort of slightly pushing, but he's being cautious. He does not want to go too far. Another squad of Futzgrenadiers out for Chains. And the engineers are run off. And there we go. Quickly, SolMisery seizes the chance to secure the fuel. Futzgrenadiers and MG42 inches upwards. There we go, the rifleman coming out of heavy fire, and there we go, intense MG fire, quickly sends them running, but not before they manage to secure the fuel point. In fact, SolMisery is largely securing the entire map, thus getting, of course, a nice amount of map control. In fact, also gaining a large amount of the fuel for the moment. Definitely going to be to his advantage if he can use it fully. And we are in fact seeing early grenades out. That could definitely be used to throw something down Chains' throat. And we are seeing Chains reacting to this. Some foolery behind the Wehrmacht lines, moving out with the MG42 and the Futzgrenadiers keeping the others down here. Grenades something you have to be careful about, of course, since they're not so strong on their own. They're going up for the northern point. Rifles at the ready. Rifles on me. And looks like, oh, nice second MG out. Quickly allowing to cover all flanks. And of course, SolMisery is not quite aware of that. There we go. Rifleman, not getting suppressed. That was quick. At the same time, a bit of fun here in the center. And we also have a windmill on this map. Yes, indeed, a windmill. One rifleman gets dropped as he moves across open ground. The Futzgrenadiers are themselves now getting pushed up as the riflemen advance ever further closer. So 2 Futzgrenadiers, 2 MGs for Chains so far. Second MG opens up, and there we go. The wooden fence did not help much in protection against suppression. They are now down. Futzgrenadiers taking up position. Nice layout of the map, sort of visually, aesthetically. MG42 advancing up here. Another Futzgrenadier MG team up here. And what shall be following up? Looks like he might not get anything further from the Wehrmacht quarters. Going for a sort of half and half sort of strategy from the Wehrmacht quarters. A bit of defensive, a bit of offensive, depending of course how it's used. Oh, Reifen get off a grenade, but they themselves are getting murdered. He gets the MG crew. More Reifen moving in, and oh dear, this could easily end up very brutally. No, he makes it out of there. And more grenades against another MG, and we are in fact seeing Chains' front line getting absolutely collapsed, albeit with some heavy losses ultimately. I mean, he only loses about 6 men, whereas of course Chains lost quite a bit because he also had to reinforce or recruit the MG42. And thus we see the grip further tightening on Chains as SolMisery advances the lines. Quick pop in there to, of course, to keeps an eye on things. Pioneers here getting blasted. And what shall the response from good Sir Chains be? No idea, but the Pioneers are definitely getting a nasty rifleman-shaped surprise. Definitely a grim start for the 2nd SS. There we go, the Rifleman actually quickly retreating. Mines down on the road there. Excellent move by SolMisery. Of course, it's going to make it much harder for Chains to advance. A bit of barbed wire could perhaps also have done a bit of a trick to further hinder his movement. But then he has not chosen an infantry doctrine, of course, so he can't have a lot of troops doing everything. Which again is a slight Wehrmacht advantage the Wehrmacht has, you know, with the Volkskongress Grenadiers being able to lay down barbed wire and sandbags. Of course, the question becomes, what will he go for now? Will he be taking up pretty severely? That could be a rather bold move. Of course, he knows with the grenades he does have some time, but we are already now seeing the motor pool going up for misery. Hoping to, of course, perhaps inflict some misery upon the men of the Wehrmacht. Chains stabilizing things a bit. Oh, mine goes off here right at the high munitions. Oh, absolutely maiming a few. Someone looked a bit surprised there. That was a mine? Goodness gracious. And there we go. In fact, he is going straight for the Sturm Armory, hoping for an armored car perhaps to save his day. Of course, at the same time, there might soon be an armored car out for misery, so a bit half and half. We are seeing some MP40s being handed out. The machine to Sturmbahnführer. Germans actually used quite a few submachine guns, although it had something to do with theatres as well. But they used Italian, German, in some cases British if they found them, and Russian submachine guns. In fact, they converted about a few millions of the PPSH-41s to actually use German ammunitions. But here we go, fighting against the house. All right positions for Misery. He's got enough windows firing down on the Volksgrenadiers. Will only light cover. Well, the Sims a bit wounded. We might be seeing more forces rush in to assist. And a nice position here in the barn as well. Stops any further advantage there by the Wehrmacht, denying the munitions right there. Volks goes down to 1 man, but so the rifleman, there we go. Larger force moving in. Additional engineers. Not a lot more mines actually though for Misery. I think again he could have done more. And the central victory point seems to have been forgotten. Unloved by everyone. The MP40 chaps are moving in. MG42 supporting a few Pioneers. Sturmarmery stürming. And there we go, the Greyhound. Well, the Volkskongress is advancing. MP40 is being sort of a short to medium range upgrade. It's not really going to help you in the longer range, but certainly can do alright if used properly. Just be careful, but on the other hand, of course, it can really do a lot of damage if timed properly. I would always suggest at least, well, always upgrading one squad of Volkskongress with the MP40s can give you a nice advantage if used properly. Plus, of course, with you keep some sort of mix with long-range rifles as well. I mean, you can get a sort of decent force that can handle a few situations. And there we go, the armored car rolls out. Looks like someone set off the mine there. Another mine there by Chains, and sure no one runs into the house. Nicely done there. Greyhound pulls up. And the Volkskongress are getting pushed away, while the riflemen here are getting rather severely punished. Still no doctrinal choice for Misery. And looks like the Greyhound is looking out for the other one to deliver solid damage to that. Since of course currently, I mean, Chains won't really have much of a response to this. He will need a Stuk or either to upgrade the armored car to the Puma. No. No action towards that. Sticky bombs on the way. Anti-tank gun on the way. Nice response there. And a Nebelwerfer? Nebelwerfer. That's not really something that's going to stop an armored car. Of course, it's going to do nicely with the infantry supporting the armored car.
Troops can now make sticky bombs.
But it's a Nebelwerfer. Nice German rocket artillery. A bit of firing.
We'll be taking Berlin by Christmas.
I wonder why he fired over here. Seems a bit of a overdone method just to clear out a few mines. Armored car continuing to patrol, of course, trying to protect the munitions right there, but not succeeding. Sticky bomb might go off. Greyhound rolling in.
Losing ground out there.
And looking at change. We are seeing stormtroopers arriving, and I bet you they will be getting Panzer Schrecks to deliver sort of the anti-tank part of the war here. Grey armored car solving a bit to the Greyhound. Stormtroopers moving up, and there we go. The Panzer Schreck is ready. Ready to hunt for Greyhounds. And if that fails, duck. Panzer Schreck. Great for duck hunting. Unless, of course, you actually intend to eat the duck. But a bit of work over there. Bit of quiet. Volkswagen is ready to also assist. Kampfkraft sent up, but interesting enough, Change is yet to actually use it. I mean, he could benefit from a bit of veterancy for the armor and a bit for the infantry. Or possibly for the support units with the 2 MGs and the Nebelwerfer. And, of course, Nebelwerfers always gain something with veterancy, since, of course, each bit actually sort of decreases the cooldown between each barrage. So that, of course, is a vital thing to remember. Looks like he got something in his eye. And, of course, that's a sort of a nice amount of detail you can actually notice on the troops if you actually zoom in there. The Greyhound is on the move, and there you go, anti-tank gun opening up. Ruining a bit of the barbed wire work there by Fritz, Helmut, Heinz, Karl and Franz. Sure, Greyhound doing a bit of maneuvering about the lines. What could he be up to? Catches the Greyhound. Stormtroopers moving in. No additional Panzer. And then he's moving in. The anti-tank in a bit recklessly getting it caught in MG fire. And we are seeing the Volkswagen pushing in. If the MP40s catch it, that could be huge. And mine goes off. Oh, he used a Greyhound mine, ladies and gentlemen. He actually used a Greyhound mine right behind the MG to knock it out. We are seeing a second Panzer on the way there. Rifleman moving up. Browning automatics. An excellently well-timed flank, although getting stopped a bit there. Rifleman moving up there. Grenade on the MG. He's not secured. Changes MG there, but the other MG gets sorted out. This is absolute carnage. Troops are caught on all sides. Rifleman suppressed. Oh, Nebelwerfer gets a Rifleman squad. Oh my goodness, this is just insane. And there's 2 MG42s left behind, and Misery can't pick it up. We are seeing Stug caught by Rifleman getting off a sticky bomb, but the Riflemen themselves are just getting mutilated as well. Damaged engine. Ah, crikey. That was definitely quite the engagement. Stormtroopers are moving in. Armor car definitely has to be careful. There we go. Once Panzer Schreck rocket connects. 2 MGs down. 4. Chains is definitely going to hurt them a bit. And again, a clever move to lay down a Greyhound mine right there. It certainly was a bit of a risky one. Could have damaged the Greyhound, but I mean, it works. I mean, you can actually do some pretty clever things with Greyhound mine. It's just not always people actually do it. Like, for example, even just laying down a mine. And a Greyhound mine, I mean, if someone steps on it, there's a large chance it's goodbye, Fritz. Anti-tank gun quickly recruit. Greyhound repairing. Rifleman moving up. Additional trained. Could, of course, benefit for a bit from a medic station, I think, with all that infantry moving about. As usual. Still no veterancy for Chains. I mean, if you do build it, I mean, you're better off actually using it just a bit. And there we go, Volkswagen's going in for the MG. They're getting stopped by the Rifle. Although the Rifle a bit negative cover. The MP40s make short work. And there we go. Oops, wrong angle. The Nebelwerfer gets off a few nice rockets. And there we go. Volkswagens are getting pushed away. The Rifle quickly advance into the road and quickly get gutted. And I think the windmill actually got hit a bit there. A bit of damage. More Rifle moving in. Trying to secure the MG, and they do so. Might get a sticky bomb off at the same time. Yes, indeed. No. Oh, Stormtroopers appear out of the nowhere, and the MG though manages to get out of there, denying Chains. 1 heavy MG42. That is going to hurt him, and possibly also leaving him a bit depressed. Oh, Greyhound gets caught. Got a bit too bold. And just keep pulling. Oh, Misery hadn't thought he could survive that. And then he actually stopped moving it. That was a bit of a misjudgment right there, but that can happen in the heat of battle. More rifle moving in. Anti-tank are now left behind without infantry support, and we are seeing it being made short work of. Storms will proceed to pretty much wreck it. And Misery is definitely not impressed by his own gameplay right there. Rather than charging in, but again, 2 armored cars can make short work of it. Still 1 MG42 left behind for the Germans to recover. Stu 42 rolls out. And a mine goes off, killing 1 stormtrooper on the spot. Stu 42 catches the rifleman and fires off a round, doing nothing. And veterancy for the armored cars, of course, nice. Nothing further though at the moment. And a few pioneers trying to salvage and repair. And Misery pushing up once more. The anti-tank gun definitely hurting him right there. And no new ones on the way, I fear, by the looks of it. And armor veterans are now on the way to support the 2nd SS Panzerdivision. Refitting after hard fighting on the Eastern Front, and having been refit. And it was actually placed, I believe, in southern France, just in case the Allies decide to launch something there. Was then moved to Normandy, and then the Allies struck in southern France. You don't hear so much about the campaign in southern France, but largely there was not much to report there. Windmill becoming out of position, rifleman getting shot at. Another anti-tank gun is up. More need for 5 few engineers sneak up on the right hand side. Oh, Volkswagen's getting caught out there by the MG could as well. Damaged engine on the Stu. And the Volkswagen's... Oh, we could see a squad lost right there for Chains. We are seeing the armor cars rolling in. At the same time, MG finding a way, but it's not really going to do much damage against the armored car. Bit of damage going on here, left and right. The MG42 number 2 is still yet to be secured. The fighting for St.Quentin slowly escalates, although I think Misery could benefit from perhaps going for a tank depot.
We are losing ground.
Since at this stage, all this infantry fighting is basically just slowly draining him, since he constantly has to reinforce losses due to the armor cars getting so much. I mean, already this one has 21 kills. I mean, this is not really a kind of fighting that will be to the benefit of Misery in the longer run. In fact, it will lead to misery. Sadness.
Forward supply lines are broken.
And all other sorts of unhappy things. But the Volkswagens are still there. Bit of resources being flowed right there, and a 2nd Needleworth on the way. And there we go, actually pulling back the anti-tank, and of course suspecting where the rockets shall be landing. And there we go indeed, although actually hitting the house nearby, blowing up the garden in fact. I suspect some French person shall be a bit upset about his petunias being smoldered. No supply upgrades either to see. Second Needler for soon ready. Still no veterancy for the infantry. All the support units. Would like to see that. And there we go. A 2nd Needler, a 2nd anti-tank out at the same time. Again, with all the Needlerwerfers, I mean, that is going to be a less of a grand idea, of course, since the Needlerwerfers will be able to sort of reasonably deal with the anti-tank guns. But, oh, mine gets the Pioneer Squad. That's been unfortunate, but we do see some artillery fire from the Germans, and a bunker going up, probably going to be a repair bunker. Although a medic bunker would certainly not be off either, but at this stage of the fight you usually only see repair bunkers, not medic bunkers. But again, I would love for Chains to prove me wrong. let us return to misery. Not, you know, literally misery. And he's in fact gone infantry. He's going for the left-hand side. Interesting. He could have got... And he's got a ton of munitions, but again, not really a lot of mines. I mean, mines would actually do something to stop those armored cars. And there we go. In fact, damaged engine right in front of the anti-tank on veteran C2. Stormtroopers going after the MG. The house is about to collapse. And armored car is down. MG42 recruit. Things are quickly escalating again. And there we go, medic station up for misery. Although again, I think would have seen one. Love to have seen one earlier. Stormtroopers advancing right out in the open. Flamethrowers moving in. And there we go, Stormtrooper down. More needle buffer fire. And still no upgrade there. And assault guns getting caught between several anti-tank guns. No, at least one. The other one's not really pointing in a direction that can actually help the first one.
We're losing a munition.
So this seems like Chains is having a bit of trouble moving it around. Heavy damage to some of them. And there we go, repair bunker as expected. Lots of fighting going on for the sort of, you know, corner heavy munitions points. Lots of harassment. And a sticky bomb on the armored car. Rather than need to consider getting out of there. Damaged engine. Anti-tank quickly pulling up. They could get another one. Ooh, 24 kills. That would be a bit sad for Chains. Will he be calling in Rangers? He could do so. He could upgrade them with Thompsons. Would help against the Stormtroopers, in fact. Would help against the infantry. And the bazookas could certainly help against the armored cars as well. But so far, nothing of that sort happening. Rifleman getting hammered. Flame. Ooh. Yeah, that looks like the squad could go down. And the anti-tank, and again, misery, leaving an anti-tank and a bit too exposed, not enough support. And enough forces to actually help it, and it might go down. Needler for 5 laying down, almost taking out Chains' his own Stormtroopers. And there we go, actually getting hit. House collapses in the process. A firestorm, quite large proportion. It looks like he's actually just saving up resources for the off-map combat group. He's not even bothering with Rangers. And there we go, another anti-tank gun going down, I fear.
Weapon crew reporting casualties.
Trying to get the assault gun right there. Lining up forces. And I suspect Needle with a fire towards here, towards the train. Actually hitting it directly a bit. And there we go, that train won't be driving anywhere anytime soon. A mine cooked off. And that stew looks a bit lonely. But there we go, veteran T2. Still nothing really for the infantry though, interestingly enough. But veteran T2 for the Stooks will help, gives them a health bonus and an MG on top. Quickly recruiting the anti-tank gun, and again getting closer and closer to the off-map combat group. Really close in fact. And again, if you get something good, of course it's going to work. If not, you know, I mean, again, that is the dangerous thing about relying on off-map combat groups. It can work, but I mean, you could also pretty much get caught with your pants down. One in front of the Queen.
Germans are seizing
so definitely something to be aware of right there. Bit more need for fire, blowing up things at random, but not really doing any damage, unless of course you consider the wildlife, which is probably not very happy about it. And there we go, here, manpower again. He just needs a bit more experience for the command points.
We're down to 300
Rifleman hiding there. 3 rifleman squads left, in fact. More need for firing, hitting the windmill a bit. Starting to look a bit less sound. And there we go. That's definitely not going to be milling anything anymore. Fulton's with a BAR run off. If he gets a kill, that could put him right into it. Come on, 1 kill. I mean, 1 was, and there we go.
Battalion reinforcements.
Of map
standing
combat group, and he gets mortars, riflemen, and anti-tank gun. He was probably looking for some tank destroyers. I mean, 2 tank destroyers, and he would pretty much be set. I mean, that is really all he needs, and he can actually do a lot of damage to Chains. But if he doesn't get that, he is, you know, in a trouble. Some spot. Get anti-tank and trying to rush in to support the riflemen, but they're not quite in a fully healthy position. Anti-tank, in fact, is exposed, and you just need to pull up to support it rather than moving in, but getting caught out in the open. They are taking heavy losses, and there we go. Folks managed to get close to the anti-tank and clearing out the crew, forcing Misery to expend manpower to recruit, and there we go. Allowing the armor cars to get closer, and there we go. In fact, quickly losing the crew. And going to clear out that anti-tank gun permanently, leaving but a wreck. Medics moving in. Will change react. And I imagine that Mr. Misery will be trying for another off-map combat group, having for something a bit more mobile, something a bit more aggressive, something a bit more likely to kill some krauts. Support veterancy too, that's nice, but so far everything but the infantry is veterancy. Usually it's the other way around, with usually the vehicles in fact being the last to get veterancy. Well, in this case it's actually been largely the opposite, sort of the usual way you actually get veterancy. And there we go, windmill lit on fire by Chains. Clearly he has some issues with them. A modern Don Quixote perhaps even. And there we go, getting some veterancy up.
Front shifted. Routes are grabbing territory.
There we go, armor cars rolling in, a bit of barbed wire down for Chains, anti-tank gun setting up. Nice hit on the anti-armored car. Bit of storm troops moving up there, right in front of the engineers, trying to lay down mines, and quickly one is lit afire and left smouldering. Small position here, apparently Misery's just leaving some troops there. Another off-map combat group, come on, clickety-click. Click, click, click. Click, click. And more anti-tank guns, more riflemen. I imagine Misery is feeling a bit miserable at the moment. But he's got a ton of riflemen. I mean, he's got about 7 squads.
Germans are seizing territory.
Does he actually have supplied upgrades? He doesn't need both, so he's not hurt as badly. And of course to quickly push forwards, but again, they are vulnerable to the Nebelwerfers. Volkswagen here getting run off. Medic station taking light damage.
Ready for the crowd. Crew, look alive. Ready for battle. Back in full fighting.
And a bit of quiet. Snipers now out for Chains. Figuring he might as well have some target practice.
Army's line is here.
But all things considered, Misery's still actually holding most of the map. He's just not holding most of the victory points. In fact, he's holding most of the munitions. There'll be armor-piercing rounds for the anti-tank guns.
Observations are taking casualties. Losing a sector.
And someone died, I'm afraid. And there we go, assault gun down, armor cars rolling in. Anti-tank guns just needs to push. In fact, Misery just needs to push with everything he has and needs to spread out a bit so he doesn't get mutilated by the Stu 42. Larger engagement over here. 2 snipers out for Chains. 2! Just making short work of the rifle right there, causing him quite a bit of grief. Mortar pulling up, that's going to be exposed, could even be taken by Chains. And veterancy 3 up for the assault guns, protecting against sticky bombs.
Losing ground.
And the infantry sitting up for flank, and Nebelwerfers cause absolute havoc amongst the anti-tank guns, burning the crew, toasting them, allowing the full, and of course removing the infantry guard, allowing the German infantry to close in with a vengeance. And the medic station is definitely not looking like the place where you want your medical attention. Quick counter-attack, but the medic station does not survive. There we go, the snipers are just unleashing hell. And Misery's just pushing on. And there we go, Flaps behaving nicely once more in the name of the fatherland. Stormtroopers, armored cars, Stu snipers. All things good, catching another anti-tank up on the right flank and clearing that out in a brutal fashion. But things have rather turned against the 3rd Infantry Division. Chains has managed quite nicely, and again, I think it rather has come down to the fact that Misery went a bit too slow. He did not go for a more mobile approach, which has allowed Chains to gain the upper hand with the Nebelwerfers and the armored cars. In particular, this one, which has so far scored 34 kills. Now, of course, Chains just needs to add snipers to the mix. It looks like Rifleman here seems to have just been forgotten. Not sure if that's actually intentional with Misery at this stage. And Blitzkrieg assault going in, catching the Rifleman between a Stu and oh my goodness! And that is just carnage. Misery's just feeding Rifleman into the grind, and anti-tank just cleared out by snipers. More Riflemen charging in. This is a direct human wave assault. Comrade Misery pushes forwards for the motherland. And he is just getting decimated, charging into MP40. He's getting off grenades, but he's not succeeding. Rifleman dying left and right, and oh, looks like Chains actually lost something. I'm not sure what. Probably some pioneers, and a Tiger tank has arrived. Sticky bomb on the engine though. And looks like, oh, the Stormtroopers actually went down, giving Misery a Panzerschreck, but will it be enough? I am not entirely convinced. And the Nebula is prepared to support the advance of the 2nd SS once more. The Tiger, though, probably arriving from the 102nd SS Schwer Panzer Abteilung. There were 2 of these Tiger battalions attached to the SS units in Normandy. And there were 2 SS Panzer Corps, each with a few SS Panzer divisions and some other SS battalions, like a Nebelwerfer battalion, I believe, and of course the Tiger battalions. But this is not looking like a happy story for Misery. Mortar still firing though, trying to save the anti-tank gun, but gets sniped. Mortar rounds flying, and these Riflemen are just as well getting shattered, shredded, murdered, slaughtered. And some pioneers moving up a bit there slightly in the west. Tiger advancing in the name of the fatherland. Stu 42 moving in as well. Misery's forces are a bit too scattered, a bit too shattered. The losses have been extreme at this stage.
The enemy is seizing our territory.
And another barrage from the Nebelwerfers. Probably intent to land about somewhere here. Yes, indeed. Penning Riflemen, lighting ditches on fire, and clearing outpost cars as well. The wonders of fire in rockets. And a bit of victory point harassment. I'm not think Misery might be trying to sort of delay things, and of course Chains does have a lot less infantry, so in a sense it could possibly work. He managed to ambush one squad of full scales out in the open, suppressive fire. Nice move by Misery, but I think it's simply too late. I mean, he probably should have been using suppressive fire a lot earlier with his Riflemen. Another squad of Storms arriving now, getting heavily equipped with the Sturmgewehrs.
The enemy advances.
And that's definitely going to clear out any troublemakers. Advance up here, but MG42, but veterans 2, of course, making it a very lethal opponent. Riflemen do manage to sneak up, but they are getting hammered. Grenade goes off. Most of the MG crew dies, but so do the riflemen. And they are pushed away from here. Stormtroopers supported by snipers. A nightmare for the riflemen. And the anti-tank actually continues to advance, but again, it's going to expose itself. And the Nebula, yes, indeed, they are firing. Target acquired. This is going to hurt.
Americans are seizing territory from us. Our forces are ready for blitzkrieg assault.
And there we go. Rockets hammering down. Howards around. Anti-tank gun gone. Rifleman could go down. Blitzkrieg up for him, allowing him to charge ahead at full speed. In fact, it even allows the stormtroopers to sprint even while cloaked, I think. And there we go, just charging in. Of course, getting more firepower as they move. Grenade, but of course, they just sprint past. But interesting enough, he's not really charging forwards, considering otherwise with his armor. Considering again, he's got blitzkrieg going. Stormtroopers here getting suppressed, but Fulska's moving in to assist. Another grenade from Misery. Getting a few Fulks Grenadiers. Do think it was a shame he didn't manage to push up the armor. But another off-map combat group, and still only a Greyhound here. And the most mobile thing he's gotten from those are Greyhounds. I mean, absolutely rubbish luck with the off-map combat groups. Really, he's put all his eggs in his basket in the hopes of getting some tank destroyers that way. And sadly, I think he would have been better off just getting a tank depot and getting tank destroyers that way. Ooh. Stu 42 almost down. In fact, that would be a bit of a loss. And Veteran C2 for the infantry, Veteran C3 for support units on the way as well. Greyhound getting a bit panther-fausted, and the Tiger moves in. More hits. Rather advancing up there, a full push by Misery, anti-tank gun firing in. Almost getting the Stu, but he managed to escape. Greyhound, though, will probably lost Greyhound mine. And the Tiger actually managed to detonate it, killing a rifleman squad in the process. Absolutely glorious hit right there from the Tiger. And more Nebelwerfer fire. More glorious Nebelwerfer fire. And I think Misery's forces have largely ceased to function as a fighting force. He's barely got anything left. He's got 3 rifleman squads left. An anti-tank, oh 4 actually, but those don't look much alive. An anti-tank and a mortar, and the mortar is, well, was clinging on for dear life. Sadly though, they seem to have caught a cold and died, coughing up their lungs.
Sharpshooter here.
And Veteran 3 for the support units is only going to make it much, much worse. Snipers will fire faster. There we go. Anti-tank gun and no longer a problem. I mean, this is pretty much a nightmare for Misery.
Sniper König here.
Rather than moving forwards, and can slightly avoid the Tiger. It's first round. Advancing, of course, getting sniped. Others getting shattered. MG42 turns about. Of course, Veteran C3 it will be a bit harder to deal with. Grenade goes off. And the MG crew dies. The MG itself getting wrecked. Riflemen just moving into everything, but they're just getting torn apart. One squad with a Panjak moves up, almost gets the armored car, but the armored car looks like it will be escaping. The other one with 47 kills. Christ, that's a few platoons on its own. And there we go, Veteran 3 for the infantry as well. There are bits superfluous at this stage, including Fulks guns with 2 Browning automatics. And there's not really much that needs that. But a full collapse for the 3rd infantry. They could not hold out against the assault. And there we go. Bye-bye. GG. Well played, all that. Of course, interesting fight. We saw a really strong start from Misery, but it didn't quite translate into a longer game advantage, because in this case he went for the motor pool. He didn't quite get the full advantage out of it, and at the same time he probably wasn't expecting Chains to go so swiftly towards the Sturm armory, skipping the Krieg barracks and getting armor cuts, and then following up with Nebelwerfers, which largely negated the anti-tank guns. I mean, here in this case, what would have been helpful, instead of, you know, pouring too many resources continually into those few tiers he had there, and the off-map combat groups, he should have gone for the tank depot. He should have got tank destroyers. He should have gotten Shermans. That way, he might have won. Instead, it didn't quite happen. Of course, you could also just have rushed the naval levels with Greyhounds, perhaps, but I mean, otherwise, the response to what sort of Chains was doing was not quite right, and while he was able to keep it up for a certain amount of time, in the end, he was simply shattered because, again, he couldn't quite react fast enough, and Chains could react fast enough to sort of deal with any incursions Misery made. So, there you go. Hope you learned something from the match. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.